You already know he's a WWE Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest to ever do it, Olympic gold medalist, and tomorrow the farewell match for Kurt Angle. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, thanks.
A couple of years ago, you came back, got inducted to the Hall of Fame. Now you've been around, been a regular part of the show. Is it a different feeling this weekend, knowing that tomorrow is that day where you hang up the boots?
Well, I did come back here for that reason, is to hang up the boots. So I'm not surprised. If it were my choice, I probably would have done the dream matches first, then GM second, then Hall of Fame third. But Vince McMahon wanted to induct me in the Hall of Fame, and then he asked me to be the GM, and then the wrestling came after. And unfortunately for me, 50 years old, when you're inactive for a couple years, your body starts to.
So does that frustrate you? Do you feel like your match quality, had you done this 2 years ago, would have been better?
It would have been, but tomorrow I trained so hard I got myself back to where I need to be. I was pretty rusty, the last few months, but thank God I got to the point now where I feel really good. So it's just tough when you get older and you're not staying active. In that ring, if you're not taking bumps every night, any wrestler or pro sports entertainer will tell you if they're not in there every night, they're going to get rusty, and I guess arthritis really starts to click.
Yeah, I know, I'm sure.
So, but I'm good for tomorrow, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful that Vince McMahon brought me back. I'm grateful to be a part of the Hall of Fame, and I'm so grateful to be able to retire here, especially at WrestleMania.
You mentioned a while ago that you were born to become, you said on TV, you said you were born to be an Olympic gold medalist, but this kind of became your life calling.
Yeah.
When you look back at everything, how do you parse those things out? Are you now more a professional wrestling legend than you were an amateur wrestling legend?
I think in many aspects I am, but I still haven't forgotten where I came from. And winning the Olympic gold medal, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for that. That's what intrigued the WWE in the first place. But I worked so hard for that gold medal, and when I go back and think about it, I would love to be known as the WWE legend Kurt Angle, but I would love it even more if people remember me as one of the greatest amateur wrestlers of all time, being an Olympic gold medalist and a world champion, a 6-time national champion. I have a lot of credentials.
You do. They've added up.
And it's kind of nice that WWE has never allowed anyone to forget that. They always say he's the Olympic gold medalist, WWE superstar Kurt Angle. So WWE is also responsible for me reminding myself where I came from.
Has it been, I've never asked you about this, has it been a cool thing over the last few years that when you came back, AJ's here, Samoa Joe is here, hell, Jeremy Borash is here.
Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode is here. EY is here.
EC3.
Has that made it, did you ever think that would be the case, by the way?
Okay, I will say this, no, I didn't. But I'm not surprised. Because there was one point in that other company, in TNA, that we had a roster that was second to none. So much talent, all at the same time. It was just
And did
amazing.
you always think, like a guy like Samoa Joe, who you have such a history with, were you just like, he will get his chance?
Yeah, I knew he would. I was hoping it would be earlier. He's still in his prime, don't get me wrong. But when you look at AJ and Joe, they're approaching 40. 10 years ago, I know Vince McMahon wishes he had them 10 years ago. I mean, these guys have done so much in the last couple of years that they've been a lot of the reason why this company continues to put out, 5-star matches.
Who are the stiffest guys you've ever worked with?
You know what, stiffest? I would say, I'm not going to name any names, but guys today, this is a tough business. I think a lot of these guys, in their minds, half of them think it's real, and that's not bad. These guys have been taught to lay it in, not just to make it look real. It needs to be real, You know, back when I was in there in 2000, a lot of guys were still working the moves and, you know, making it look stiff, but it's not stiff. But these days, man, these guys lay it in, and it's a credit to them that their careers are staying longer than ours was back then. So these guys prepare differently now. They train a lot harder. They do all the CrossFit stuff, which is amazing, and they're bigger, faster, stronger today. I know because I was there yesterday, and I'm here now, and it's like, wow, these guys are amazing.
So what are you nervous about anything tomorrow?
I'm always nervous. I always get nervous before I perform, especially WrestleMania. You know, some wrestlers will tell you it's a walk in the park. It's not. I mean, this is where you lay it on the line. You have to be at your best. You have to look your best.
You feel comfortable? You feel comfortable with Baron Corbin?
Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna lie. You wouldn't be, you know, I think that Baron is an upcoming talent that is going to be utilized in this company incredibly well after I'm done wrestling. So I understand why it's Baron Corbin.
A lot of people were waiting for it to be John Cena, though.
Yes, and that's probably the best way to go due to history. But for the future, it's Baron Corbin. I've been in the ring with him. He's really good. And he'll prove it to everybody tomorrow at WrestleMania.
Are you any nerves about the emotions of when it ends? That moment?
Yeah, I don't want to think about it. I'm going to be in the moment, and it'll come to me. You know, I've been pretty emotional lately anyway. But I will really miss being in that ring. But I know the time has come for me. I'm 50 years old. My body's pretty beat up. So I got myself in shape for one last match, and I want to give it a go.
Dwayne Wade said earlier this week that he was asked about this being his last season and what is he going to do, and he said that he's very prepared to start therapy for the first time because he's never been in therapy. Because he's really worried about the transition of you've been doing something since you were 7 years old,
right,
and then it stops and you're still a young man.
Yeah,
so have you thought about some of those things and what you may need to deal with mentally about it being done?
Yeah, I have, and I think with me, I worked so hard since I was a little kid. I never got a break. Up until today, I've been living my life as either an amateur or pro wrestler. I've never got to settle down and, you know, spend the extra time with my kids, think of something else that I want to do. So now I've been able to reflect on what I really want, and I do want the retirement. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to miss it. I won't miss it right away, but I imagine eventually I will. But right now, I'm happy with where I'm going.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
you are
you.
truly one of the greats to ever do it.
Thank you.
Kurt Angle.